Satu Day, what's happening, y'all? Got the old DLC with me, of course. Seems like it's always when I got to do work, I always grab that thing. I mean, imagine that, right? It's in the name or something. Okay, let's do this in kind of sort of order, I guess. Yeah, let's do this. All right, so quick, like going over a few that were loaned in, and then we'll get to some other stuff. Okay. All right, so JD for EDC loaned in Devo. Let's see, this is not the Buzz. This is the Mash. Devo Mash. Obviously, if you don't know already, these are Chinese made. But to me, like, these are definitely like from an action point of view, fit, finish, all that stuff like that. If this is I believe a budget knife, and I'm not really sure how much it went for, but titanium, I think this is 14C28N. This is more on their budget end of things. It's not like the G10, but as far as the titanium and stuff goes, it's a great, awesome knife. Like the action on it's awesome. How they have everything figured out. Like, I mean, it's still a small knife because, like, if I'm all the way up by the blade and I just go in normal grip, you can see I got very, very little knife left over, and that's using the whole knife. So it's not like a huge knife. For me, this is what I would call itty bitty. I'm sure for normal people this is normal size, but for me this is small. But the action is ridiculously good on it, and it's got the only thing I don't like about it is they use those wire clip thingies, and which I hate. I think everybody hates those. Well, everybody that I shouldn't speak for everybody. I hate those. How about this? But they need to come up with some kind of filler tab that's better than just that. But yeah, that sucks. That's the only thing. Everything else I like about it. Matter of fact, let me put one more thing. This little feature right here, this little kind of relief right here, but still radius. I kind of like that. That's nicely done. I don't know what the purpose would be other than aesthetics, but hey, works for me. Ain't all got to be a function, is it? Next one he loaned in was, I believe it's a Fox. No, I'm sorry, Ace. I ain't got my glasses and I can't see shit. Kind of always wear sunglasses in here because the bright lights of the ring light behind me, which you can probably see right there. All right. I don't know which Ace this is. I don't know if it says it on it or not. I'm sorry, JD. I know he said it, but when JD sends stuff, like I try to keep all his stuff together in one little spot. So I don't always take out the paperwork that tells me what things are. So that's why I'm an idiot. But it is what it is. I don't think really people tune in to hear my opinion about an Ace, but this is kind of like my quick, dirty, in a hurry. Is that Thrasher that says that? Anyhow, interesting material. The light's bright enough. It seems like it ain't. I can't see shit in this video. Let me see if I can turn these lights up real quick. Hang tight 1 second, guess. So I can figure out how to work my contraption here. All right, that's a little brighter. There we go. That's a little better. So I don't know what this material is. Burlap micarta or Kevlar micarta or whatever this is. It's interesting feeling. I think that's probably the standout for this knife. This knife is a liner lock, and you almost have to use your thumb to disengage it. Like when I try to use my normal, I try to come in normal grip. Like there's not enough room, and honestly, like the cutout's only right there. So if you come in here, my normal grip is kind of like I grip more with this finger than I do this one, and it does nothing because you can't even get to the liner. You know, I mean, I don't dislike this knife. It's just not. It's not a me, you know. And of course, do I really got to say it? Yeah. Oh fuck it, I'll say it again. I hate the pocket clip. All right, moving on to the more familiars. So I had loaned Aaron a bunch of knives in the past. He sent some back to me. We're probably going to work out trades on the ones he sent back, but I mean not mine, but the ones that he had owned it sent to me. Does that make sense? Whatever. All right. So one is just the XM18 Black. And I had one of these a while back. I'm not remembering if mine was the same configuration blade or not. I can't remember. I think this is the slicer, ain't it? I think mine might have been a Spanto. I can't remember. But either way, like these all blacked out ones, and this one has the blacked out hardware. So Aaron already had that hardware in it. But man, all blacked out 18s look so freaking good. When he said he was thinking about getting rid of his, I was like, man, send it my way. Let's see if I can work something out with you, because I forgot how much I like the 18s. Not necessarily from a size point of view of my right hand, but my left hand pocket's like, this is the size knife I like to have for backups. This is my backup size right here. But man, the 18s just look so much better than the 24s, like proportionally. They just look so much awesome. So much more awesome, I guess I would what I'm trying to say. But anyway, blacked out 18, everybody's seen those, I'm sure, with the hardware. He said a bunch of other hardware and shit too, which is really cool. This one we'll spend a little bit of time with. So this one used to be Scotch and Thing Steve's, and then he traded Aaron for it. And then I don't know whether nobody I don't know, like really gets into the weird stuff like me, because I like weird shit, like big overbuilt, but like I like weird, unusual things too. Like, but anyway, this is the GTC Torque. So if you've seen Steve's channel, you've seen this on his channel, but this is an official GTC custom. Hopefully that's coming through in the video. You can actually see it. This thing is funky. Like looking at it, look, you're not really sure what to make out of it, right? It's just a weird looking folder to start with. Like the thing I want to point out is this is sharp. All this right here is sharpened, so you can only put your finger right here and back, like really right where that grind comes in. That's about how far you can put your finger in there. So for me, I can only get that first finger in. If I put my whole finger in there, I'm getting cut. Like I can only put that first finger and kind of pulling back on it. So the only time I'd really use this grip on this knife is kind of like when I'm scraping something with the end of that. That's kind of what I could use that for. But I don't know. I think I could probably do it just as fine like that. But I don't know. But this part right here, at first I was like, what the hell would you use it for? Then I think it was an apple or something I got, and I kind of was whittling on an apple, like skinning it, like see Scab doing. He does his a little different, but man, that worked great. I thought it worked awesome. So if you're whittling a piece of stick or something like that, it'd probably get a little piece right here. Like it's somewhat similar to like a recurve and how you use the backside of that recurve. So like to me, I felt pretty natural using it. But I think this is called the Torque. Another interesting thing that I wanted to kind of show is that the lock bar relief traditionally, you know, like in a regular, let's grab just a regular old XM here. So you know the regular relief just kind of right there. Just most of the time everybody just cuts a pocket. Well, if you look from the outside, you can see this design he's got cut in right here. He cut the same thing. You can kind of see it right there on the inside. So that lock bar relief isn't like a standard square. So it has a little bit of a different feel to it. When you look the lock bar cut out and see it's kind of funky too, how low the angle comes down and how close underneath the pivot it comes to give it that good lock up. It locks up good. Don't get me wrong. It just is funky the way he did it, and I dig it. I like it because it is funky. But everything about this knife that I've found, like messing with it, it's not like the best action knife or nothing. It's good, but this is made in 2014. So in 2014, this is probably a rock star action. For 2023, almost 10 years later, it's still good. So kind of speaks the test of time on that one. From what Aaron said, you see all the scratches and stuff. I don't know if it comes off in video, but some of the scratches and stuff on this finish. Apparently GTC doesn't offer any kind of spas or anything like that. So basically, the finish is what it is. Like it's yours. You don't really care about looking into redoing it. So two ways to kind of look at that. One is to kind of leave it all stock the way the maker did it and leave it alone. Don't do nothing to it. Just use it and have fun with it. And the other one is my favorite, mod, which I don't know if I end up getting this knife from him, if I would or wouldn't mod it, because it is pretty rare. Apparently in 2014 these things sold for like $1,400 or something. It's ridiculous. So in today's money that ought to be like $2,000. But I don't think anybody, when Steve went to sell it, was really interested in it. I don't think anybody, when Aaron's trying to trade it, several people have inquired about it, but none of them have officially gone through. So for whatever reason, people don't like that. I love weird. So I'm gonna try to work that out with Aaron where I get those two from him. We'll see what happens. But like, I ain't had this one. I was thinking about trading him this one. I haven't had it in stock, or I had it in hand for months at this point. Like Aaron's had it for a good bit. This is my Chupacabra. This is what I got last year at Blade Show. And I was actually thinking about trading it, and then I got it back, and I was like, oh man, I forgot how awesome this knife was. Like, it's kind of cool when you get your own shit back. I'm still excited about it. So that's worth it, man. Like, kind of send stuff off. And then, you know, get excited about it still. This one was a mod. So Thursday, I ended up going to the old shop. A 5th Access mill got wrecked. They just needed help putting it back together and setting up production again. So I went in there and helped them out. Like, I don't really work there anymore, but I just did it for them. But while I was there, I went ahead and did this little mod. And it's kind of like the same thing I did the Project X. It's just a little stud mod. This is a Tucson for Miss Stella's Knife Obsession. Y'all, I'm sure y'all already know about her because she's way more popular than me. This was a very challenge stud placement because you don't have a ton of room. You can see there's not much room between the lock bar and it, and those grinds, how the grinds come up. Like I could have cut into the blade more, but then it was sunk the thumb stud more. Just a really hard placement for the knife. And also, if you look at how it rotates out, that horn right there. There we go. All right, sorry. Trying to get where y'all can see it. See how close it comes to that horn? So you really don't have a whole lot of room. I could have took the stud and went further up in it and I probably should have, hindsight being 2020. But this thing works great for the thumb. It's a little hard to find with the finger because it's so tight to that lock bar in there. You got to kind of take your finger behind it, but it works great as far as the energy level. Like the detent on this one's actually really good. I can't read what number it is, but you guys can probably see better than me what number that Tucson is. I just saw this one in her video, and she was talking about wanting to put different mods on it and actually possibly deleting the flipper. So I did the thumb stud mod for her on Thursday, and then when I talked to her, I can't remember, Friday, Saturday, whatever it was, she said just leave the flipper on it because I'm not sure about that. So I'll send it back to her. If she ends up wanting the flipper deleted, we'll hack it off, do something with that. So that's Stella's Tucson, and this is a cool. As far as the Tucsons go, I like a lot of the Tucsons. Like they're well machined. Like if I was buying Chinese knives, I'd probably be all about the Tucson brand. But they seem to be more what I like in knives than a lot of the other people. They do weird shit too, which is another thing I like. Where'd that case go? Here it is. What was I going from there? Oh yeah. So Billy had talked about wanting to kind of ease into some mods, doing some flipper deletes. At least I was trying to encourage him to, because he said he wanted it done, and they're pretty crafty, you know. So I think they can do it themselves. And so I'm going to kind of sort of, I guess, I'll maybe go through a whole process next week to do like a video or something for Blade. I might record it today or another day during the week and then just leave it go. But just the first state. So this is the Skype that I already modified. So this one had the flipper on it. There has the flipper on it. And I really don't use it. I use just the thumbs. This one's been converted to phosphor bronze instead of the bearings. So the first step in all that is just to kind of lay out. I don't know if you can see the scratch marks in behind this. Right up in here to delete the flipper. Can you see where the closed and open position scratch marks are? And I just laid it out. That's the first thing you need to do, is figure out where that is and then where your detent track goes in relation to it. So you can see more or less what that black line is where the cut would be. So that's the first step, just kind of laying it out. Make sure you ain't going to be in the way of the detent track. It's not going to get in the way of a stop pin. So when your stop pin closes or opens, it's not going to be in the same position or in a position where it hurts it. So in this particular one, this is the stop pin. It gets pressed in the blade, and then the titanium's cut out on the inside. I should have probably had this knife open, but maybe you'll see the track. Can y'all see the track up in there? So that's the track. So obviously, me cutting the flipper off ain't gonna affect this one at all. But you just need to investigate that to make sure there's it. That's the first step in it. And we'll leave that there. I'll get back into that, like I said, in another video, because I kind of want to go over what I got next, because pretty excited about this. Oh, by the way, Steve and Mitch both. I got first side done on X scales when I was there Thursday as well, or I finished it on Thursday. I need to go back and do second op, so I may try to go back into their machine shop, because obviously my mill's still not running, or I threw parts at it. We'll see what happens, because to get anybody out here is like $300 just to get them here, and then it's like almost $200 an hour for them to do the same shit that I'm doing, which is guessing what's wrong, because without a schematic, it's all guess pretty much. I mean, their educated guess is probably better than mine, but the first part of order was only $80 delivered, so I'm gonna throw some money at it before I call in some help, I guess. Where was I at? Oh yeah, that was just an update for Steve and Mitch. Anybody else that wants the X scale, like there's been a couple dudes on Instagram that kind of hinted around about wanting them or something like that. Let me know. I'll see what I can do, but I'm in no rush to like start any one particular project, especially before my mill gets running. Like that's probably the first thing I'll do when I get mine, is to run a couple sets of scales. So if you wait, we'll work it out. But if you really want one, that's fine. But Mitch and Steve been waiting. I know both of them want one. Both of them said they wanted one, and I think one other person, or maybe two other people, said they wanted some, or I can't remember. You just hit me up if you wanted them. I can't remember, because Hinder released his own titanium scales now. I figured the vast majority of people are going to go buy Hinder scales. I mean, most Hinder people are Hinder people through and through. They want all the stock stuff. It's like Harley Davidson. A lot of people want just the Harley parts. Like, whatever. You do you. Okay, so y'all know, y'all been following this. I kind of want to clear this up too. So y'all been following me for a while, last month or so. You know I've been all about this Rhino. So Steve Clare had loaned me this one. Then I kind of sort of was talking with him, and we decided that we could work out a trade for it, because he knew how much I liked it, and he kind of wanted one of my DSKs. So we ended up trading for this one. This is I think 2017 or 2018. I can't remember when he made this one, but it's an older one for him. This is all handmade, no CNCs. and 3V, I believe, on the blade, which is like that's ultimately like, I love 3V because it's so tough. But I had already messaged you before that, Sergey Rogovitz, and so I'm gonna show the official thing so y'all can see it. Anyhow, because a couple people have asked me how to spell it and all that other stuff, and I've told them on Instagram, but I'm just gonna show this so that if you're in any doubt, that's how you spell his name. All right, cool. Anywho, he had showed me he was building some Rhinos, and he posted something about, if you're interested in one, let me know. So I immediately jumped on, emailed him. He's on, I contacted him through Instagram, but then our communication has been through email. He has a lot of cool different styles, like, but I am kind of weird when it comes to that. Like, I kind of sort of like the more raw titanium. I don't mind the milled stuff inside of it, but I like the weight. I don't want anything relieved, holes in it stuff. Like, I got a couple DSKs with holes in it. Not my favorite side of the DSKs. Like, this just, I like the full titanium. So, you know, that's a pretty chunky dude. I mean, it's pretty good sized chunk, right? And as he's doing stuff, like, he offered me 3 other ones before he basically came down to what he could be the last one or two. And he's like, all right, dude, you hadn't liked the other 2 or 3 that I've sent pictures of. What would you want? And we just kind of kept talking. Like, out of the steel he wanted to use, which is S45, and I wanted it stone washed or acid washed the best I could. He didn't really want to acid wash. He said it makes it dull gray, which I don't know that this isn't a little bit of a dull gray acid wash. Without talking to him, he just said stone wash everything. So this is the official new Rhino. So it looks, on first glance, pretty much the same, but there are some subtlety differences. Now, this one does not have as strong a lock bar pressure as the old one, so it's not quite as snappy right now, but the action is, well, you can see it's absolutely ridiculous. This one does have a little bit more on the closed position. You can see where he's changed. So on this particular one, let's see if I can show you this way, he's got 2 stop pins. So you got a closed stop pin where the blade's hitting right now, and that open stop pin where it's hitting then, okay? And on this one, you only have the 1 stop pin, so it's for the closed and for the open. So it makes, he's kind of refined the design a little bit. And it's just like little details like that. So on this one, you see the exposed hardware. It's got these like 5 or 6, whatever hole. That's actually, I'm sorry, it's Security Torques. Security Torques bolt. And I believe on this one, he's making his own hardware now. This guy got that Medford kind of spanner bit type. Also the stop pin. You see how it's kind of like contoured, kind of more of a point. And this one's kind of well, you can't even see it sticking out, but it's just blunt. But man, look at that. These are made 5 years apart. I like the style of this one too. I don't think I'm going to get rid of this one. At first, Steve was like, well, once you get your new one, maybe we could work out something with this other one. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. If you really, really want it back, let me know, because I really wanted it. You hook me up. If you really want it back, let me know, Steve. Other than that, like, I think both of these are going to stay for a while. This one also has contoured scales, which I really dig how he contoured these. You see the contour in it there. So it kind of is, the peak of the contour is kind of sort of higher than what a normal contour would be. Now, this is my XM18 scale. Let's do it this way. Yeah, so you can kind of see that the peak of this one is kind of high too, but it's more right in here. Like, I don't know, it's hard to really describe. The contour is just done well. Like, so here's one that always people know about a lot, these solos. So you can see the solo, the peak of it's kind of sort of more in the middle of this frame. The center line is more middle. It's not as high, so it feels different in hand. Really no way to describe how this feels in hand. It's a little chunk, but that contouring, like, I've gotten used to this contouring, and now when I go back to the slab side, which, don't get me wrong, I love some slab sides, but now when I go back to this one, the slab sides, it doesn't feel as good. Like, it's weird. Like, you get used to something so quick. I do miss the snappier action on this one, but I honestly think it's just lock bar pressure. And it's too new for me to even pop apart. I have zero issues the way it is right now. It's a little bit less on the detent, but that's the fun of having 2 of them, man. Like, there's no sense in having 2 exact ones, right? You might as well have a little bit difference. I like some of the differences on this one and some of the difference on that one. That's kind of the cool thing about it. But so, an early blade show for me was not cheap, but it was done for me directly from the manufacturer, and I had an awesome experience talking with him, getting stuff done. It wasn't like I sat there and bullshit with the dude for a long time. I just like basically told him what I wanted, and we kind of worked it out. Super simple like that. So if you guys are interested, if you got wanting customs like that, because you know these, it's like DSKs and stuff. When you get in that price range, less and less people kind of are interested in spending that kind of coin. But this dude don't even use CNCs at all. I think I've already said that, but man, it's, from a machinist point of view, when I look at his work, like, it's impressive, man. It really is. Like, he's got to have everything dialed. But he does nice work, so highly recommended. I guess I'm gonna call it this week. Yeah, let's call it this week. I'll probably do the flip or delete for the next week video, and then the week after that it's Blade Show. The guys that are going to the Blade Show, I haven't heard any official plans. Like, I'm on the Instagram group, but it seems to be more of a bullshit group than actual planning group. But if someone comes with an actual plan and figures out what people are going to do and that sort of thing, I'm all ears. Yeah, call it there. Y'all have a good week. Later.